There is a heavy plastic lid sitting under 3 inches of green grass in my side yard, just past the vegetable garden. If you walk over to it right now, you will not smell a single thing. No foul air, no damp marsh smell, no soft squishy mud under your boots. Beneath that cover sits a 1,000-gallon concrete tank that takes in everything from my kitchen sink, our wash tub, and our bathroom, day in and day out. That tank was put into the earth in 1984 by my father. In 42 years, a pumper truck has never backed up to this house. Not once. Not ever. We have never paid a man $500 to pull up in a diesel rig, drag a heavy black hose across our lawn, chop up our turf, and suck out what was sitting down there. Right now, in a small glass jar sitting on my kitchen counter, there is a warm, amber-colored mixture bubbling quietly. It costs about $4 to make. It takes 3 simple ingredients you can buy at any small grocery store on the lower shelf, and about 10 minutes of your time. Once every month, my wife pours that warm jar straight down the lowest toilet in our home and flushes it once. Every single bit of solid waste, grease, and paper that drops into that tank is eaten up within a few days. It does not sit there turning into a hard, crusty sludge that chokes your pipes or ruins your leach field. It gets digested down to plain water that flows out clean into the soil, exactly the way nature intended. My name is Elias Yoder. I am Amish, and I farm in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. I am going to show you step by step what goes into this jar, how to mix it, when to use it, and where to pour it. Then I am going to tell you the part that should make you a little uneasy. The septic pumpers and plumbing companies in your town have known about this biological reaction for over 50 years. They continue to let you spend $500 to $800 every 2 or 3 years because a healthy, self-digesting septic tank never puts a penny into their bank account. Stay with me. By the end of this, you will know how to keep your septic system running clean for the rest of your life for less than the price of a cup of coffee a month. Let me start with what most homeowners get completely wrong about their septic system. Because if you do not understand this simple truth, you will keep throwing money down the drain. You think of your septic tank as a big dirty garbage can buried in your yard. You think it fills up over time, and when it gets full, you have to call a man with a heavy truck to come empty it out. That is not what a septic tank is. A proper septic tank is not a garbage can. It is a living, breathing stomach. When you eat a meal, your belly does not just sit there holding the food. Your stomach uses living bacteria and natural enzymes to break that food down, turn it into liquid, and pass it through. A septic tank is built to do the exact same thing. When waste goes down your pipes into that underground box, millions of microscopic living creatures, what the scientists call anaerobic bacteria, go to work instantly. They chew on the solids, eat up the oils, break down the toilet paper, and turn all that heavy sludge into liquid water. That water then flows safely out into your drain field, sinking harmlessly into the soil. If those tiny living creatures are healthy and active, your tank digests everything that enters it. The solids never pile up. The crust never forms on top. The pipes never back up into your basement. And the tank never needs to be pumped out. So why are so many people calling the pumper truck every 2 years? Because the English, and forgive me, that is just what we call folks outside our community, with no disrespect meant, have been taught to kill the very things keeping their septic tanks alive. Every time you pour harsh chemical drain openers, synthetic bleach, heavy blue toilet bowl cleaners, or commercial antibacterial soaps down your drain, you are pouring poison straight into the stomach of your house. You kill off millions of those helpful bacteria in 5 seconds flat. Without those little workers digesting the waste, the solid sludge starts to pile up at the bottom of the tank. A thick, hard layer of grease forms across the top. The water has nowhere to go, so it starts backing up your pipes or bubbling up through your lawn with a foul smell. The septic company pulls up, pumps out the mess, collects $500, and leaves. Then you go right back inside, clean your bathroom with bleach, kill the bacteria all over again, and start the countdown to your next $500 bill. My grandfather called that feeding the trick. We do not feed the trick on this farm. We feed the stomach. And once you learn how to feed that living system for $4 a month, you will never need a pumper truck again. Here is what I want you to do this weekend. You will need 3 plain things from the grocery store. Nothing fancy, nothing with a warning label, and nothing that requires rubber gloves or safety glasses to handle. The first thing is 2 small packets of active dry baker's yeast, or half a cup if you buy it in a glass jar. This is the exact same yeast your grandmother used to bake fresh bread on a Saturday morning. You can find it on the baking aisle for about $2. The second thing is 1 cup of plain brown sugar or dark molasses. The brand does not matter. The cheap kind works just as well as the expensive kind. The third thing is 4 cups of clean, warm water. Not hot water, but warm water, about the same temperature you would fill a baby's bath. Hot water will kill what we are trying to wake up, and cold water will leave it sleeping. You start by taking a clean bucket or a large glass jar. Pour in your 4 cups of warm water. Next, add your cup of brown sugar or molasses and stir it slow with a wooden spoon until it dissolves completely into the water. What you have just made is a tub of pure energy. That sugar is simple, rich food that living microbes love more than anything else in the world. Now, sprinkle your 2 packets of active dry yeast across the top of that warm, sweet water. Do not stir it right away. Just let it sit on top of the water for about 2 minutes until it starts to look soft and wet. Then, give it a gentle stir and leave it alone on your kitchen counter for 15 to 20 minutes. Watch what happens next, because this is where the magic turns into science. Within 10 minutes, that quiet jar will come alive. The yeast wakes up from its slumber, drinks in that warm sugar water, and begins to multiply at a speed that is hard to imagine. The mixture will start to swell up, turn foamy on top, and fill your kitchen with a rich, warm, fresh bread smell. Millions of dormant, microscopic living organisms are waking up, multiplying, and searching for heavy organic matter to eat. You have just created a dense, hungry colony of active bacteria ready to go to work. Take that bubbling jar straight to the bathroom on the lowest floor of your home, the basement bathroom if you have one, or the ground floor half bath if you do not. Pour the entire jar straight down the toilet bowl. Pull the handle and flush it twice. That flush carries millions of hungry, active microbes straight down your main drain line, cleaning out any soft organic buildup along the pipe as they travel, right into the belly of your septic tank. Once they land in that dark water, those organisms spread out across the top layer of sludge and grease. They begin feeding instantly, chewing through the thick, solid crust, breaking down paper, and digesting heavy waste into plain liquid water day after day. One $4 jar, mixed once a month, keeps a continuous supply of active workers in your tank. A single batch costs less than a gallon of milk, takes 20 minutes from start to finish, and keeps your system digesting waste automatically so sludge never has the chance to accumulate. Now, you can put out all the yeast mixtures you want, but if you are doing 3 common things inside your house every day, you are fighting a losing battle. You are putting workers into your tank with one hand and poisoning them with the other. My grandfather used to say, "There is no point filling a bucket if you keep poking holes in the bottom." The first silent killer sitting next to almost every washing machine in America is synthetic chlorine bleach and commercial antibacterial soap. I know folks love that sharp, harsh smell because they think it means clean. But remember what I told you, your septic tank is a living stomach. When you wash a load of whites with a cup of heavy chemical bleach, that bleach travels down your pipes and dumps straight into your tank. It does not know the difference between bad germs on a kitchen counter and the good, helpful bacteria working in your septic system. It wipes out everything it touches. A single bottle of heavy chemical cleaner can wipe out 3 months of natural bacterial growth in 10 seconds flat. If you must use bleach for your laundry, use oxygen-based bleaching powders instead. They brighten your clothes without dumping harsh chlorine into your underground ecosystem. The second silent killer is those blue or pink chemical drain openers folks pour down the sink when a pipe runs slow. Those products are made of heavy caustic acids. They melt hair and grease, yes, but when that chemical solution hits your septic tank, it changes the water chemistry completely. It turns the water harsh and acidic, making it impossible for beneficial microbes to survive. Instead of pouring liquid chemical fire down your pipes, use plain baking soda and white vinegar followed by a kettle of boiling water. The fizzy natural reaction loosens soft blockages without harming a single living microbe waiting in your tank. The third silent killer, and this one surprises almost everyone, is your kitchen garbage disposal combined with poured cooking grease. A garbage disposal chops up raw food scraps, vegetable peels, and meat trimmings into tiny pieces and pushes them into your pipes. But those raw scraps have not been chewed or digested by a human body first. They enter your tank as heavy, raw, solid mass that takes 4 times longer for bacteria to break down. When you add warm fry pan grease or oil down the kitchen drain, that grease cools down inside your tank, floats to the top, and hardens into a thick, rubbery crust called the scum layer. That hard crust seals off the top of the water, cuts off airflow, and smothers the bacteria working below. Collect your cool cooking grease in an old coffee can and throw it in the trash. Scrape your food scraps into a compost pile behind your garden instead of grinding them down the sink. These 3 small changes in your kitchen cost you nothing, take 0 extra time, and stop you from accidentally murdering the tiny workers keeping your $500 pumper truck away. Before I talk about the money part of this whole business, let me share a habit my father taught me when I was 10 years old. Once every month, during the cool part of a Saturday morning, he would take a slow walk across the grass on the south side of our house. He called it walking the drain field. Your drain field, or leach field, as some folks call it, is the network of perforated underground pipes that takes the clear liquid water out of your tank and lets it filter down through the soil. It is the lungs of your septic system. If your tank is the stomach, the drain field is how the whole system breathes. When a septic tank fails, it almost always shows up in the yard before it ever backs up into your house. As you walk your lawn, you are looking for 3 simple warning signs. First, look for grass that is unnaturally bright green and thick compared to the rest of the yard. If you see a strip of lush, dark green grass running in a straight line across your lawn during a dry summer spell, that means untreated wastewater is rising too close to the surface. Second, walk directly over the underground pipelines and step down firm with your heel. The dirt should feel dry and solid under your boots. If the ground feels soft, spongy, or squishy, like a wet bath sponge, your drain field is clogging up with undigested solid sludge. Third, check your nose. A healthy septic field smells like fresh, damp dirt after a summer rain. If you catch even a faint whiff of sour, swampy air, your system is struggling to digest its solids. If you notice slow drains inside your house, do not reach for chemical cleaners. Mix half a cup of plain baking soda with half a cup of white vinegar, pour it down the drain, let it fizz for 15 minutes, and flush with a kettle of hot water. That simple, natural routine clears out pipe residue, neutralizes bad odors, and keeps your lines flowing freely without harming a single beneficial microbe waiting down in your tank. Now, I want to address the question that is probably sitting in your mind right now. If a $4 jar of baker's yeast, warm water, and brown sugar keeps a septic tank running clean for decades, why has nobody ever told you about this before? Why isn't this simple trick printed on a sign in every hardware store in America? The answer is simple, and it comes down to basic math. The septic service and plumbing industry in this country generates over $20 billion every single year. The entire business model is built around one thing: recurring visits. When a septic company charges you $500 to $800 to pump out your tank every 2 or 3 years, that is not a one-time transaction. That is a subscription service you never realized you signed up for. Think about it from their side of the counter. A customer who knows how to keep their tank digesting waste naturally only spends $48 a year on yeast and sugar. That customer never calls for an emergency pump out on a Sunday afternoon. That customer never needs a $3,000 drain field restoration or a $10,000 tank replacement. There is no profit in a homeowner who solves their own problems for $4 a month. There is no sales commission in a box of baker's yeast sitting on a grocery shelf. No commercial plumbing company can build a fleet of white trucks or pay for television advertisements by telling people to pour sugar water down their toilet bowl. So the industry stays quiet. They do not have to lie to you or conspire against you. They simply sell you synthetic chemical flush packets for $25 a box that contain weak, inactive enzymes, or they wait for your tank to fail so they can send out the heavy truck and hand you an $800 invoice. Let us look at the real numbers side by side. Over 10 years, the average homeowner spends between $2,000 and $3,500 on routine septic pumping bills, chemical drain cleaners, and service calls. Using the natural yeast method I just showed you, your total cost over that same 10 years is less than $500 total. You keep $3,000 of your hard-earned money sitting in your own bank account. You protect your lawn from heavy truck tires, and you keep your underground ecosystem running smoothly without a single harsh chemical ever touching your soil. That is not just saving money, that is taking back control of your own home. So this weekend, here is what I want you to do. Walk past the chemical aisle at the hardware store, go to your local grocery store, and head straight for the baking section. Pick up a small jar of active dry baker's yeast and a bag of plain brown sugar or dark molasses. Total cost, about $4. When you get home, warm up 4 cups of tap water until it feels warm like a baby's bath water. Stir in your cup of brown sugar until it dissolves completely, then sprinkle 2 packets of yeast across the top. Let it sit on your kitchen counter for 15 minutes until it gets thick, foamy, and smells like fresh bread dough. Take that bubbling jar down to the lowest toilet in your house, pour it in, and flush it twice. That is your whole maintenance schedule for the next month. 10 minutes of your time, $4 out of your pocket, and your septic system will start digesting solid waste automatically before Saturday night. Tell me in the comments below, how old is your house, where do you live, and when was the last time you had your septic tank pumped? I read every single one of these comments, and I want to hear how your tank responds after you try this yeast treatment. If this simple, honest advice makes sense to you, come back and join us again. Next time, I am going to show you what my grandfather used to keep our private water well crystal clear, sweet tasting, and completely free of iron stains and sulfur stink year-round, without buying a single expensive salt-based water softener or paying a filtration company $2,000 to install a system you cannot repair yourself. It uses 2 basic items you probably already have sitting under your laundry sink right now, and it has worked on our farm for over 60 years. Until then, stay watchful, keep your tank healthy, and remember, the people who built this country with their hands knew simple things that we are only